everyone. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, we're just beating Newcastle 3-2. And we're climbing the table. Oh, no, we're not. We're level on points still. Our goal difference is what's keeping us from climbing the table with Chelsea. But it's come to the wind down the end of the season now. But a lovely result. You called it bath time. How you doing, bro?
I'm very well, thank you, Monday. I rather enjoyed that football match. But pleased to be here. We've got Stefan with a new haircut. We got Dora wearing blue. Are you feeling blue, Dora?
I'm feeling over the moon, if I'm being honest, because this is my first reaction after a very long time that I'm actually reacting to the win. So I'm hyped up. If that you know, if that's what you're trying to explain. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking.
Wicked.
Stefan, over to you. Have you got a new haircut?
I have, yeah. Well, just a tidy up. I'm going on holiday at the weekend, so.
Woo! Where are you off to, Stefan? Where are you going?
We're going to Portugal, to Porto for 4 or 5 days. So nice little one.
Scouting when you're there. Check out Diamondo.
Oh, he's playing for Lisbon, mate.
Oh, okay.
I heard it's really windy. I got a colleague who's goes to Portugal quite a lot. She's Portuguese and Venezuelan as well. And she came back from there recently, and she said she was so brown. This is like end of April. And she said it's so windy out there, but obviously the wind does give you a tan as well, doesn't it?
We've had this conversation before. The wind doesn't give you a tan.
It does give you a tan.
It doesn't give you a tan.
Guys in the comments, does wind, being by the beach and having a wind, doesn't that give you a tan? Okay.
Look, DK Wilson is from Chicago, which is the windy city. Like, we'll find out if are people in Chicago permanently tanned.
You know what? It'll be 2-0 if you get this one right, because we debated about something the other day and I got it wrong. I can't remember what it was exactly. It'll come to me. But if I get this one wrong, if I'm wrong again today, I'm going to quit making
was it De Boer?
It was the De Boer Rangers thing, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, let's big up people in the comments because everyone's going to be over the moon about this result today. DK Wilson says, good afternoon, good evening in England. Obviously, they're 5-6 hours behind us. So big up to you, DK Wilson. Where's he from, Dora?
Arkansas.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton. That's a new one, isn't it? Well done. Big up, DK Wilson.
You know where Bill Clinton's from.
Oh boy.
All right, Ed Mayhem in the house as well. How you doing, Ed? My favourite midfield partner. He said, "Rest in peace, Supergran." Oh, Supergran passed away, did she? Okay. Solo is in the house. How you doing, Solo? Salute to you, bro. Good to see you in the house. He said, "Big up, Solo." I hope you're excited about the result because you've been really on a downer lately about Man United. Agile Beast 21 saying it as hyped up as Rashford pre-match. What does that mean, Stefan?
Oh, there's something of an incident pre-match, like between some fans giving some abuse to Rashford warming up, but I never got to see the full video. I don't know bath time's in it.
Yeah, some people were just giving Rashford a bit of abuse. He didn't take it particularly well. Eriksen pulled him away. Like, he's just getting a bit of grief for his performances this season, and he got a bit of a sulk on. So it was very nice to see him smiling later in the game.
He should have done John Fury and went over and,
or a Cantona.
Yeah, that would have been better. Imagine that. Big up to Addy, my friend Addy, who got tickets for the game through me. I got connections, and he's gone to the game today. And in a great game for him to enjoy. Big G's in the house, and mush up the place, if you know what I mean. Congratulations, yeah, we're rocking, we're rolling. Big G, big up Solo as well, says Ed Mayhem. DK Wilson's having a good old belly laugh. Big up Ed Mayhem, he's getting enough love. A win, Ten Hag speech. What is this going on? We need to be on this one, guys. This is current affairs. While the show's going on, let's investigate what's going on with Ten Hag speech business. Holland goal as well. So big up to Nasaki Guna. Big up to Stefan. Haven't seen you before.
Stephen.
All the way from Kenya. Happy we won. Stephen, sorry. Sandy. Is it Sandy or Sand? I don't know. 254. But welcome to the Man United Agenda. I want to know your thoughts on tonight's result as well. And we got Big G said on Monday, yes, wind by sea helps tan. Yes, it does. The UV bounce off the water and the wind helps. I walked into that one, didn't I? Thank you, G. You didn't laugh on a good old laugh on my Thank you, Big G. And yeah, Ed's getting. Why is Ed getting so much love today? Do we have any investigating reporters out there with your trench coats on? Let me know what's going on with this Ten Hag speech business, guys. Anyone? Not yet. All right, let's move on with the show.
Amanda, you've missed a new viewer's comment.
I thought it's Dora, actually. It's Dor. No.
It's my alt account.
Big up to Dorno, 25. The Kaz picture is brilliant. I haven't seen it. I will. Is that your thing, bath time? If you put a Casemiro picture up?
I did. I had Casemiro on the
I've
beach
seen
with a
it.
drink.
That's so funny. I did see it in our little private chat. One on the beach, get a wind suntan.
Yeah, Casemiro on the beach.
Is that okay? Brilliant. Well, there you go. It's attracted Dorno 25. Dorno 25. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. Let's hear your comments about the game today, and make sure you follow and subscribe as well. So where do we start? I mean, what surprised me, I didn't realise that Rasmus wasn't playing, and Matt Tommy was playing up front. And I'm sure everyone in the Man United Agenda has always said that McTominay's makes better movement in the box than Rasmus, holds the ball better, is a better finisher than Rasmus, and finally he's got his slot up front. Guys, were you surprised by that? Start with you, Stefan. How do you feel about McTominay going up front today in the starting lineup?
Do you know, it's one of those, Amanda, it's like people might think that he's got the better attributes to be up front, but
right,
he didn't really do it tonight. I don't think he's like, his forte is not being a number 9. Like, he's got attributes to score goals. By all means, play him as kind of a box crashing midfielder. He's good at that role. By all means, get him in and around the box. His runs are aggressive, but he's maybe not the guy you want to be the very last man. He's not the guy you want to be getting on there, but he was kind of useful in how he received the ball. Some of his flick-ons were good. He actually managed to win his own flick-on as well, like with quite a nice turn of pace. So that wasn't too bad. Like, and I mean, overall, he did all right. Like, you could tell he wasn't completely comfortable up there, but he just got on with it. He didn't make a fuss, and he just got to work. Like, and he kind of alternated with Bruno as well. You know, sometimes Bruno would go beyond and maybe offer himself in that role, and then maybe you seen McTominay pick the ball up in decent areas. But yeah, it was okay. Like, not spectacular, but pretty solid.
Okay, so Dora, what do you think this means? Is this like it's a new selection? Does this mean we're giving Rasmus a rest to get him ready for the weekend of the FA Cup, stop him from getting injured or burnt out, or does this mean that McTominay is our new striker going forward?
I just feel that Ten Hag finally saw that Højlund has been, manhandled since his injury, in February, and I think he finally realized that it's better to try something else. Hence why we are seeing Amad Diallo, with the minutes that he got this season, little minutes if you compare it to someone like Anthony, who has, I think, 2,900 minutes, and he has 1 goal and 1 assist. This guy did it, one goal, 1 assist in 290 minutes or something like that, which isn't something to brag about, but it shows that he is providing more to the team, not just with his stat, but his off-ball things. Sorry, I'm losing my voice apparently. I just feel like, why didn't we see it earlier in the season? For example, after that injury, why we haven't tried this combo up top? Even though McTominay wasn't necessarily that much on the ball, I felt that he had a really good game today, and Bruno was out of his mind good. I think besides that Liverpool game, this was his best game of the season. Wow. If I'm being honest, that's maybe I'm forgetting, other performances, but it felt like he was everywhere. And when you have, he had so much freedom, up front. And when you have so much space in front of you with McTominay, who, even though he isn't a number 9, right? But I always liked the way he moves into the opposition box. I think he has a much better movement than Højlund in that last third. And I think it showed today. And in all honesty, I think Newcastle defenders, saw that starting lineup and said, "Oh my God, we cannot manhandle Højlund today." And it sounds harsh, saying that, but I think he scored a goal from the bench, but it felt like it feels like he's been targeted since February, and we finally see, an attack that is actually, working for once this season. And I'm really happy, in all honesty, how they performed today.
Good. You know what, bath time. So we're talking about McTominay playing as number 9. Let me just read out the squad, and if there's anyone else you want to discuss. So the starting lineup today, obviously we've got one game against Brighton and in the FA Cup final. We discussed before about rotation or giving people an opportunity. Let's see how you feel about it. So Onana in goal, Wan-Bissaka left back, Wan-Bissaka right back, Dalot left back. We had Casemiro with Evans, Amrabat, who you call a Shetland pony, with the pudding in the side as well. All these nicknames you created, all on you. And Diallo started the game with Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, obviously, McTominay up front, and Garnacho. Your thoughts about that, with added in with the position of our Scott McTominay. And before, because after that, we're going to talk about a little quote that's United.
Well, I think first we should just do the comments, because they're talking about this, and then we can come back to me.
All right. I'm not going to do that again because it's embarrassing on my part. I've pressed the wrong one. Here we go. Big G. This is the one I wanted. McTominay playing false 9 was pants. Mind you, he helped the structure of the team. I'll say that. So 100% a wink and a thumbs up from him. Big up to Bilal. He said good evening. Hi. Everyone say hi to Bilal. Welcome. And also say hi to Bart, serious fan. He says hello. And once again, Big G saying, I hate to say it, but Bruno played well. Just what Dora said right now. Dora said it's the best game she's seen for ages. Bruno played well, he says. One of the first time his positioning didn't spoil the structure of the centre midfield. Another 100% wink and a thumbs up. Let's big up to Chat Sport. How you doing, Chat Sport? He's saying Casemiro can't play centre back versus City. We said we didn't want to play centre back ever again, but he started today, and we'll talk about it later because he did play pretty well. Bart saying here, Maguire would be great up front too. Just ask the Greeks, obviously. That's a joke about off-the-field activity. All right, bath time. I've given you a starting lineup. Just talk to us about McTominay, what that more means.
All right, so I quite like the starting lineup. Look, with Casemiro, you just have to accept it at this point. He had like a disastrous first 30, 40 minutes, and then he began to sort of grow into the game, and you saw some things that you'd expect from a player of his quality and experience at the back. But when talking about Bruno and McTominay, I thought McTominay had a very, very good first half because he showed us a lot of things that we miss with Højlund, which is like winning a couple of headers, and also the goal. Kobe Mainoo's goal came from McTominay successfully holding up and combining outside. It's so important. He didn't really sort of have any chances and stuff, but the two things that I found really interesting was in the second half, they put Dan Burn on McTominay, and McTominay couldn't win. He started to win a few headers later on, but for about 20 or 30 minutes, he couldn't win the headers. And I felt that this is something that we'll get onto later when we talk about Onana and whatnot. And I also agree that Bruno played well, but Bruno pissed me off a lot in this match when he didn't have the ball. Because against Arsenal, I thought that our mid-block with McTominay and Højlund was the best I've seen from a Manchester United side in living memory. I thought we were so difficult to play through. We pushed them out wide into areas that they didn't want to be with. And tonight, Bruno, as the captain, was leading that block, and he was pushing people up more and more. And I feel that Bruno's desire to go and press is something we need to get out of him, to be honest, because I feel he opens up the gap a lot. And I noticed more and more that Isak, who I know everyone gets all hard about Isak. I'm not a huge fan of his, but what he does do very well is he drops into pockets of space, and the Newcastle back line weren't able to see it, but he was getting around the back of Amrabat a lot in the first and second half when Bruno went to press. I think it was something they probably worked on, but they couldn't quite find him. So I felt that Bruno and McTominay, I think that there's actually something there. But we're not going to see that, I don't think, for a while. But all in all, I was very pleased with Bruno on the ball. I thought he was terrific. I just feel that we've got to rein him in to stop us getting played through. Because against Arsenal, no one played through us. Tonight, we got played through. And the difference was Bruno and not Rasmus next to McTominay.
Leaving his block in a way. Just quickly, I'm going into this blind. Thank you, Stefan, for dropping this news. We did talk about when there's a speech, there's an announcement, there's a speech being made. It's usually bad news. I'm going into this blind. Ten Hag has got a statement. I'm going to read this out, guys. So brace yourselves. Ten Hag, he said to this season has been difficult, but our season is not over. We have a match against Brighton and the FA Cup final, and I promise you, these players will give everything they have to bring the trophy back to Old Trafford. Fighting words. Love that. Ten Hag on the pitch says, on behalf of the players, staff, and myself, I want to thank you all for the brilliant support during the season. I thought he was going to say for a brilliant season. Then he says, I promise these players will give everything to win the FA Cup and bring it back to Old Trafford. A repeat of what he said earlier. He said it twice. It was the echo in the stadium, I think. And Ten Hag saying here, we are going to Wembley. You are the best, in capital letters. Where's DK Wilson? You are the best supporters in the world. Is that a rousing speech? Well done, Ten Hag. I like that. Dora, what do you think about his style of giving a speech on the last home game in a dodgy season and being so enthusiastic about what's to come?
I mean, it's a textbook speech, in my opinion. It doesn't matter.
The last one was 30.
I mean, it's a classic football manager, option, chat option. But, with all jokes aside, I mean, I think it's normal for him to be enthusiastic. I think, people are already speculating, and I saw that a lot from the United fans today, that, with his, enthusiasm and his post-match reactions in the last few days, last few weeks, he's kind of hinting, like he is very, enthusiastic, he's very, motivating, he's, happy, he's smiling in the post-match, and press conferences, and people are speculating that, told him that he's going to stay next season, which I honestly still don't believe. I just think that, he kind of changed the, how do you say it, after the whole drama with the journalists, and he also realized that the English media is always on his back, and on Manchester United's back, and I think this is just saying thank you. I think he did it similarly last season as well, in the last home game. Because I remember him saying that, we are going to Wembley. We did go to that FA Cup finals, and, I promise you that, these players are going to do their best. And yeah, it was a tough season, but, everything went bad for him, I would say. But I mean, I think it's a generic response, not to take away anything from him, far from that. But I think it's just, I'm not, I mean, cool. He's hyped, he needs to hype up his players, for those last two games of the season. And I rate it. But I don't,
Stefan, what do you think? Do you think this means he's still in with a job? Because you wouldn't come out and boast up about, yes, thank you guys, and say all this if you're going to get the hook coming soon. Really, you wouldn't say that. I wouldn't do that anyway. I'd be like, let's go to the change room. Wouldn't bother grabbing a microphone and, getting everyone roused up.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree more with Dora. I think it is just kind of like pretty standard comments that he is coming out with. Yeah, it's probably good and rousing that he's doing it, and he probably wants to try thank the fans for sticking with him for the most part throughout the season. It's not been easy watching the team at times, and the home support, the West support has always been impeccable as always. But I do think it's interesting, even throughout those quotes, there's nothing really talking about next season. He's not saying next season we're going to go again. We're going to try to bring bigger trophies next season and try to push on next season. He's more focused on the here and now, on the FA Cup, and he should be. But I don't know. Well, I'll not read too much into them, and I don't know. It's just hard to know what's going to happen, man. It really is.
Bartine, your thoughts on this? Because we can only speculate, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, sort of paraphrase everyone, it's a very standard and kind of uninspiring speech from Ten Hag.
Uninspiring.
What I would have liked to have seen is him praising our under-19s that came on the pitch at halftime with their trophy haul. I think that would have been good. I think that he should have praised the women's team for winning the FA Cup. Like, he's just made it about the men's team as opposed to the club. And as much as the focus is on the club, it also extends to like other things. And under happier circumstances, I would have liked him to have talked about someone like Kobe, like, who's had a breakthrough season, and sort of, like, talked about the contribution of players. Because really all he can do is say we're in a final and you fans are the absolute best. So I feel that maybe mentioning the women and the kids would have been what I would have done.
Shrewd. Bart, the serious fan, saying, I agree with Ten Hag for once. United fans are incredibly tolerant. For instance, those guys at the United agenda haven't blocked me once yet. And Agile Beast is saying here, one cross between Ahmad and Garnacho combined, but that doesn't tell the whole story, I believe. And Hydro saying, we need to keep Ten Hag, let him cook. Okay, I'm not going to read what Bilal says because he's going off. All right, let's talk about the game. Newcastle. What did we do? And Stefan, was this a game that means nothing? Do you think Newcastle turned up thinking, we're done out here? The season's over. Do you think there was much motivation from the team? Because, I didn't expect us to win. I thought Newcastle would be better side than us all season. But they didn't have that oomph today, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sorry, Stefan, go on.
Oh, sorry, Zora. It's okay.
Do a rap. Do a duo rap between the two.
Duo.
Grab the mic. Pass the mic on.
I think it was a pretty slow first 20, 25 minutes. Like, I don't think a lot really happened. And if you were to watch back, it would be like from the first goal, it kind of kicked things into life, really. And it kind of came out of nowhere as well, because Kobe thought he was offside until Trippier played him well onside in the end. But that kind of sparked the game to life. But it was a weird one going into it, because it kind of started slow but built up, where it's like after 20 minutes or so, I was like, this might just be one of those matches where we're just seeing out the fixture list. We're just turning up, just getting it done. We'll do the same at the weekend. But yeah, fair play. We came out and went for it, at least towards the end of the first half. Newcastle did as well, and it turned out to be a very entertaining match.
And Dora, do you echo that as well? We're at Newcastle, and Man United at this stage of the season, with nothing really to play for, that there wasn't really that edge to the game.
I felt that our team was more energetic than Newcastle players, in all honesty. I don't know if this, they still have a chance if, I don't know about the goal difference and all that, but they were on 57 points. If they win against us, they will be on 60, on par with Tottenham and Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken, which still, brings them some kind of, chance or possibility of Champions League, but or is it fifth place still it's Europe? Okay, so that doesn't mean anything. My whole point is out of the window. No, it's maybe, but I felt that this is my problem with United, especially in the last few seasons. So throughout the season, we get out of the cups, we have a shit show of a season, and then last two games they start to play, and to me there's just it stinks so badly. I noticed. Probably except that last season when the whole team just stopped playing after that Carabao Cup final. That's a different story. But I always felt that post Ferguson teams, they just kind of start playing and trashing. We didn't trash Newcastle, but if you compare two plays two teams, without looking at the scoreboard, I think we outplayed them today. Maybe it was because Ten Hag finally maybe made some changes in attack and we started scoring more goals. But some of the individuals in the Newcastle team were poor, in my opinion. I think Kieran Trippier was he was atrocious today, in my opinion. I think he was on the strings all day. And yeah, their midfield was, they kind of have few moments where they overrun us, as Stefan said, in the first 15 minutes or whatever, or bad time, it doesn't matter. But I think after that, we kind of nullified that. And, it was kind of, I thought we dominated them for the most of the game. Well, on my eye test, right? So, yeah, I felt that we were more energized. And I just want that to be the case throughout the whole season, but that's just me.
We've got one game to go, so
Yeah.
All right, bath time. Let's talk about the goal, because the first goal, I mean, Stefan kind of touched it earlier about this. He thought he was offside. Dora, hopefully you've got a run through for us if you can help us with that in a sec. Bath time, the first goal after half an hour or so. It was our boy. The 3 goals now he's got in the Premier League this season. Well, I think she's good for him. The youngster, Kobe Mainu, so composed, just rolled it into the corner. Just if there's any doubt, I'm still just going to slot it in the net and then look around and finish his dinner. Talk to us about that goal, please, bro.
I mean, there's no. I suppose what I'd like to talk about instead is the contribution of Amad Diallo to the game and to the team, because previously we saw him execute a nice shot out from a corner, not quite Paul Scholes, but got it on target, and obviously that foreshadowed something that came later. But a lot of that goal was due to Amad being able to sort of work in tight spaces and get a ball across. And obviously, Stefan has touched on earlier, Kieran Trippier has been at fault a lot this season for poor positioning at the back.
Another Kieran's talking about Dora's chickens there, if you can see. Sorry, Bafta, yeah.
That's all right. And I think that's the sort of goal that I like, because it's scrappy and it's composure in front of the goal, because Miney thought he was offside. Everyone thought he was offside, but he still stuck it in, played to the whistle. Once again, he didn't, Rasmus, when he scores, cries and screams and things, but the bit of amateur dramatics, and Kobe just rolls it in and then sort of just has a look around. And he's like, oh, look, I've scored another goal. But what I want to know from you, Amonde, is about the performance of Amad. We've seen him have a couple of games now. Why has Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford all been out on that right wing? And at the dregs of the season, we've seen a new player come in who has shown the one thing that none of them have, which is the ability to strike the ball cleanly with his left foot consistently.
Let me just say this. I've always thought Amad was a good player. I thought he was a bit cursed. He's he's too small. Maybe I think there's still a bit of that about him being too small. Technically good. Obviously, I think he smashed it in training. I think he's one of these players who really does the business in training. Pop 1-2 nuts, plays triangles around people. Bermuda, you get lost. He's that sort of player where he's got all the talent you need, I believe. It's just that coming on the big stage, he's come on. He's obviously, remember, he scored against AC Milan. He's always done well for me. I've always been impressed by him. In tight areas, he holds up the ball really well, really strong and wiry. I thought, okay, he's got that about his game. It's just, didn't feel he had the rapid speed at Premiership level to get away and be effective in that respect. He needs to have teammates around him, close by him, to pop, give and go, that sort of thing, to be effective. And I think with a player like with Garnacho had a run. It went stalled a bit, go on the bench, come back, impact. Then he suddenly is the first team player. For a young player like that, I think Amad showed a lot of fortitude, because he's been in and out, he's been sent on loan, and he still had the ability to hang around it not long enough while Palestri's gone, while Zidane Iqbal's gone. He's hung around long enough to prove that he's got something about him. And I'm glad I see Big G bigging him up in the comments as well. But I want to see Amad play good for us, because he's an advanced, wide playmaker, in my opinion. Something we lack, especially in that position. And I think he's shown now in one game where everyone's always at Anthony's back, everyone's always concerned that, we've got to get Elise, all these kind of players. He showed me in one game that he's got an ability with the right coaching, with the right development to be an effective player for us. Because I think you take him elsewhere, he could be effective for other teams. You think of someone like Bernardo Silva. I'm not comparing him, just saying they're left-footed, small, and nimble, and they play to their strengths. If he starts to base his game on sort of Bernardo Silva, he's got the technical ability almost to be as good as him in that respect. But I think that's how he needs to sort of play for us.
Not Saka.
Who? Saka? No, more than Bernardo Silva for me. Saka's slightly different in my opinion. He's a bit more. I don't think Saka's as skillful as Ahmad. You know, when I say skillful, I mean like tricks. He's very effective. He's faster, a bit stronger, a bit bigger, I think. But Ahmad's got a little something about him which makes him a tricky player and someone who I feel as a defender, after about 5-10 minutes, you're thinking, I need to back off and be on my toes because this guy can.
What is it that makes you back off Ahmad and not Saka?
No, you go for Saka. Clearly, you go for him. Saka's a class player. Obviously, he's I think clear of our boy Ahmad based on the experience and appearances. But the reason I think you back off Ahmad at the moment is because playing to feet, one touch pass, he's gone. So it's like, all right, I'll get close. He's just gonna pop it off. Playing again, you turn, give him time to turn. You try to jockey him. He's got quick feet. You know, he can just pop it, give and go, and you'll think, I don't want to be caught out here. So it gets to the point after 3 or 4 possessions, you're as a defender, you're thinking, I'm backing off. I'm not going to dive in with him because he'd roll me. If I get too close, he'd roll me. If I get too close, he'd pop it off and I'm out of position and get beyond me. So it's not about the rapid pace or anything like that. It's his intelligence. And I think he's always thinking, ticking over. His head's always ticking over. If the ball comes to me, I'm reading this guy now. Let me just pop it off this time.
All right.
You know,
and how would you defend Anthony?
Anthony's different altogether because Anthony, he wants to get the ball and square people up. That's what he's waiting to do. He wants to square people up and say it's showtime. It's Anthony time, you know? And he's not thinking with his team.
It's a bad show. It's a bad show.
It's a shit show at the moment, isn't it? No views. Barry Norman, the film critic, our man Bath Time, Barry Norman, would say, boo, don't go and view that. It's a load of rubbish. So that's my view on things. I just think Ahmad's got so much about him, and I think he offers defenders more of a threat, even though you say he's got to bomb someone for pace or anything like that. It's because of his intelligence and what.
Do you think he's better than Garnacho?
Different players altogether. Garnacho's direct, that's effective. This guy on the other side is an advanced wide playmaker where he's going to do link up more than Garnacho does. But the players need to appreciate him, get close to him, and give him a bit more love. And you'll see a very good player coming soon. I've said my piece on it. I've said enough. Over to you guys. But I'm pro Ahmad Diallo. Very much pro. Don't like his stupid celebration with that one eye thing.
I know why. Stefan, what I want to know from you and Dora is are there any why would Anthony be ahead of him in the pecking order? And like, is there anything like to his game that he lacks, and maybe that's the reason why Anthony has been ahead of him all season? Or is it fitness from injuries? Like, what's going on there?
I mean, I think it's got to be fitness, injuries, and Ten Hag has always seemed to have some kind of a value on seniority as well. Like that comes into it simply because Anthony has played more minutes, more matches in his career, as opposed to Ahmad. I think that's got to be. That's all we can observe from the inside.
What about Eriksson and Mainu?
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of just undisputable at this point, that Mainu does a lot more for the team when he's on the pitch and is so much more dynamic in terms of what we need from a player in that role. But I don't know. It does genuinely start to really baffle at times when you see how good Ahmad has been in the last couple of matches. Surely at some point he would have been worth a go. Like just let him on, have a go. I think he might have played against Fulham at Craven Cottage, maybe a 10-minute cameo,
He
maybe
did.
2 or 3 months ago. And people say, like, speed of thought, speed of action, it's there with him. he seems to be able to pick up little pockets of space in and around the box. And that was just in a small cameo. And it was like a little taste of what we could have had. But
I
we just
wasn't
seem to go
impressed
back.
when I saw that. Like, I was actually at that game, and I was more impressed with Palestri in that match than I was with Ahmad, who like Bruno scored that last minute winner, and it was Ahmad and Palestri basically fighting. And I felt that Palestri looked more ready for the Premier League than Ahmad, who he struggled a little bit in that cameo for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting one. I think Ahmad is different than the other wide players we've got at the club. I mean, you look at Garnacho and compare it to Ahmad. Garnacho's direct, he's explosive. It's over 5, 10, 15 yards. That's where he really excels. You look at Rashford, maybe it's longer distance if he can get in behind or if he can operate in front of a forward line. Whereas Ahmad wants to receive, he wants to link play on that side. He wants to play one pass, make a move inside, try to work the space and stuff. It's kind of different as opposed to what we've had from other wide players. That's kind of what you wanted from Sancho at times as well, and what maybe we didn't have the team to build around him as well at different points. But I don't know.
I think that's a really good point, though, Stefan, because the thing that I really like about Forson, and I know no one likes Forson, but Ahmad does the same thing, is that he will receive the ball in the wide area, combine, move into a central area, and keep going, like keep trying to play these combinations. And I've always loved players moving on diagonals because it makes them hard. It makes it harder to know who's got to pick them up. And it also gives you, I think, better passing options than if you're straight. Because if someone makes a straight run, ball has to be diagonal. And if someone makes diagonal run, the ball has to be straight. So when you're running on a diagonal, the balls that you can give to people are easier balls to play. And this is what I really like about Ahmad is he starts wide and comes in on that diagonal, and he gets like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who maybe we can talk about later after another masterclass, and things involved. But Dora, sorry, what someone was asking about your profile picture as well.
David,
yeah, I would never put Shuker on my avatar. It's Zvonimir Boban. It's Boban, my captain, national hero, Croatian hero. Google him, you will know. To give my 2 cents to this debate, I think that it's obvious that I don't rate Anthony. I think that he doesn't take his players on. I think his best play is when he doesn't have a ball at his feet, which is, to me, as a modern winger, I know people, rate, in the modern game, the movement and, the work rate a lot. However, his problem is everything to do with the ball. He's too small. I think Ahmad is also small, but what I noticed today as well, in the first 15 minutes, he actually won 3 headers against Newcastle midfield, which I was shocked because he is one of the smaller, players on the pitch, and he kind of that kind of to me showcases that he physically is still kind of a bit better, a bit better than Anthony, who he has those small small strides, and when you look at him, you could see that he is trying to
Yeah.
he's like how do you say it, the bird and the
Gimli.
coyote. No, the coyote, and he is chasing that bird.
Oh, Roadrunner and
Yeah, but Roadrunner is actually, quick, but, Roadrunner is doing like this. That's Anthony to me. And I don't feel that he's that, fast. On the other hand, of course, Ahmad isn't as fast as well, but I just feel that he has a different stature of his body. And I think that kind of suits the Premier League better, right? He can at least, I just feel that his body and his stature is more, suited for the Premier League, and it helps that he is much better on the ball than Anthony. I feel that Ten Hag picked him because, he knows him in the soul. He trained him, in Ajax. He knows him, since he was very young player, but at some point you need to realize that it doesn't work. And I think he realized that too little, too late. I'm not saying that Amad Diallo is a world-class player. I doubt that he will ever become that. But for what this team needs, I think that it's absolutely crucial for him to start, because he is currently our best on form right winger. And I would disagree a bit, Omondi. I think that he is kind of, to me, he reminds me a lot of Saka, because as you mentioned before, he, he thrives with people around him, right? And you guys mentioned the combining, and it kind of reminded me of the wingers that we had at United. Giggs did that a lot. So many wingers that previous wingers at United. I always loved that, right? When the winger is not just cutting in for the sake of it like Anthony does. I just love when they are combining with other people and running and as you said, guys, confusing other people or the opposing team. So I read it about him, and it helps that he is gaining the confidence and that he is on form, and probably our best on form winger currently.
Okay, so as Kieran said, he dedicates his victory to Durrell's chickens, which is a running joke on his channel from a few weeks ago. Here we go. Big G saying he's definitely better than Anthony, talking about Diallo. Simon Warner's in his house. He went to the pub to watch the game, but it was screened. He says it's a good win. So welcome back, Simon. Stephanie Griffiths saying Amrabat putting challenges tonight that's been missing all season. Where have you been? Big up to Montreal MUFC says, I only wish I knew there was a version of this Amrabat all season before Arsenal. That was the guy I saw with Morocco. So everyone's sort of up on the Shetland pony. Simon Warner again saying here, once again, he leaves the subs until late. I predicted Haaland would score, and he did moments later. Am I psychic or what? You've been down the pub and you're boasting up. Simon Warner. Big G saying here, the other thing Ahmad brings is that he's not selfish. He brings other players. Yeah. Saying there, Garnacho and Ante are selfish players, in my opinion. Bilal saying here, not happy with the subbing on Martinez. Is that because he doesn't want to get injured, maybe? The youngsters are doing it for themselves in that game, says Simon Warner. Again, he's saying we need Martinez bench to be fit for the cup final. So, all right, that's where Bilal was going with that. Again, Bilal saying here, asking about the avatar. We just confirmed it was Vladimir Boban, AC Milan legend.
Zvonimir Boban.
Sorry, not Vladimir. That's Ukrainian.
It's always Vladimir.
My bad. Big up to
no
both.
problem.
I love him as a player. But Montreal MFC saying here, I think Ten Hag also has a bit of a rigid view on what a kid must do to earn chances. Very different from Louis van Gaal. And Simon Warner saying the game was just papered over the cracks, so he's not too high. I can't imagine why there was so much added time. There's 6 minutes added time today. Pelestri hasn't scored for United, whereas Garnacho, Mainu and Ahmad all have, says Stephanie. Tyrone is in the house. He's saying, interested to know what Forster has shown half time when he's played, because Tyrone's not sold on him. He says he's a bit too lightweight. And we've got, Bilal saying Pelestri is finished. He's not a Premiership player, in his opinion. Brighton unlucky against Chelsea today. They will give us a game on Sunday. We've got them, obviously, away from home. Garnacho thrives in counter-attacking team. I like this comment, by the way, from Tyrone. So here's his analysis. Garnacho thrives in counter-attacking team, while Ahmad would thrive in a team that's able to control games with possession. It's his intelligence that sets them apart, and Ten Hag misses a trick. A couple more to go. Simon saying here, we have a week after the Brighton match to try and get players fit for the final. A bit of a risk by playing Martinez tonight. Beep, beep, Roadrunner is Dan James. You got that wrong, Dora.
He took that.
Dora, I beg you, please, for my entertainment, do that running style again. When you were doing the run. Oh, no, you went. Brilliant.
Oh,
and Montreal FC remembers Coyote and the Roadrunner. Tyrone saying here, didn't watch the game tonight. Didn't watch the game tonight, guys. Hopefully they played well. Yeah, they did. They played all right. Big G saying here, Ahmad is more technically gifted than Anthony, and even Garnacho for that matter, 100%, of course. Glad to know Haaland got a goal. Will do wonders for the boys' confidence. Call him a boy. What Simon Warner's saying here, will Amrabat stay for the new season, or is he going to be added to the list to go? He's on loan, isn't he? I would love to see Varane played his last game at Old Trafford tonight. We can talk about Varane as well, because obviously there's big news about that, isn't there, Stefan? How do you feel about that with Varane?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been coming for a long time, Amanda. Like, I think he's been pretty good this season. I think as a box defender, he definitely still has his qualities when it comes to just clearances, blocks, headers, tackles. That's what he's good at. Maybe not as composed or as high quality on the ball as what you might want, but I can't say I'm surprised. And I think I was saying earlier, between Martial going and Varane going, that's the guts of £31 million a year saved on wages.
Yep.
So I can't say I'm surprised. Like, just the money that those two have been costing, that we're going to let them move on for free. I can't say I'm surprised at all.
Are you sad though?
I mean, I like him as a player. I think he's probably a good leader, but we also had like the fallout mid-season as well with Ten Hag.
Oh yeah.
And there's a while he wasn't being played. We were playing Johnny Evans over him in big Champions League matches, but I don't know. I don't know. I think he probably would have wanted more from his time here. We probably expected he would be one of those players whose mentality would take us to the next level, and it just never really happened. He got one League Cup. That was it in 3 seasons. Yeah, I don't think it was the biggest success, like all things considered, but not a bad player for us over the last couple of years, I guess.
Okay. Your thoughts, Dora, and bath time, just on Varane, because obviously the news is broken that he's decided to leave at the end of the season. I'll start with you, bath time. I mean, what sort of impact has he had? Was he the world-class Champions League Varane that we?
No, very limited impact for me. All in all, I find him a very disappointing signing. Like he was like, his introduction to Old Trafford was one of the best moments in the last 10 years for that Leeds game. Like where, Bruno got a hat trick, Pogba played well, Sancho came off the bench, really seemed like we were on to something. But I mean, Stefan talked about Varane being a good box defender, which I agree with. His one strength, I think, is that he was our best wide defender as well, in sort of judging that distance, just shepherding the ball out of play or getting his shoulder across. But he's always been a number 2, really. He always needs an aggressive player next to him, like a Pepe or a or Sergio Ramos. And he kind of found that with Licha Martinez. But I think that those two are a highly overrated combo in the Premier League. I don't think they're anywhere near as good.
Who got us third in the Premier League last season, bath time?
Yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near as good as they've been made out to be. I feel that Varane has never performed consistently, in particular with his distribution on the ball, and I expected so much more from him. So, like, I wish him the best in his career. I don't think he ever really let the team down, but I think that he should have. I was expecting a hell of a lot more of a player of his quality.
Oh. Well, we say goodbye to Varane. I think I think he seemed like a good pro. He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
He? Never sort of shouting or getting up to no good behind the scenes. Seemed like a good pro, and hopefully he sorted out his injuries. And good luck in the future, Varane. Thanks for the service that he gave us. He almost got 100 caps for us, didn't he? Or 100 games. He reached 90-something games for us. So I don't think he'll go down as a United legend, even though he's a very good player. Varane's end of career payday, as per usual, with these experienced players.
What do you think, Dora?
Oh, did I?
I mean,
Ugh.
I'm not. Look, I was excited when we got him, of course, as any United fan who, how do you say it, seeks some kind of seeks some happiness from this club. And when we signed him, I thought that it's going to be good. Of course, him and Martinez, created a very good combo that was one of the best defenses on paper in the league when it comes to clean sheets and them being together on that pitch. But his career at United has been underwhelming, in my opinion. So I would just say I assume that he's a great guy. He seems like a good, collected family man, a good lad, as you would say. But I would just say thank you and goodbye. Honestly, I'm not very attached to a lot of these players, in all honesty. And I think if most of them leave tomorrow, I wouldn't know. I guarantee you, I will not shed any tears, in all honesty. So yeah, but thank you and goodbye. That's all. I wish him luck for the rest of the.
Is he out for the cup final, Stefan? You would know about this. What's this injury status of Varane at the moment? Because obviously he didn't play today, but Simon Warner saying here Varane could play against Brighton or play in the cup final and say goodbye. Wish him well. Is there any opportunity for him to? Because we're struggling at centre back at the moment.
I mean, I haven't heard anything about it. I assumed he was out for the season, but I mean, if he's fit, I mean, it's got to be better than playing Casemiro there. If he's anyway ready for it. Like, to be honest, I can hear Palatine laughing. I'm sure we're going to get on to Casemiro's discipline at holding the line at some point.
Let's do it now. Casemiro, guys. Obviously, we spoke in the comments earlier about we didn't want to see him play at centre back again, but he started. Obviously, due to we don't have enough defenders. But I thought he played pretty well today in centre back, and Bath Time sort of touched on that earlier about his performance at the start of the show. I'm going to start with Dora. Casemiro, if Varane's not fit, if Maguire's not back, and we've got Brighton and we've got FA Cup final, do you continue to risk this guy playing at centre-back, having one decent game? And how do you think he performed today? I mean, be honest.
First 20 minutes were awful. Like, I was, oh my God. So he strides like a... I mean, if what's his face? If Amrabat is a Shetland pony, what is Casemiro? A raging bull? I don't know what he is.
A T-Rex.
A T-Rex probably, because he in that first 20 minutes he strides across the pitch. You know, he's running in that midfield and then he displaces a pass. And of course, it's dangerous. Moment in game where Amrabat is having a game-saving, block, right? 5 minutes later, he does the same thing. He strides across the pitch. You know, he's running, and he does it again, and it's a dangerous situation once again. You know what? I wouldn't risk him for that City game. In all honesty, even though, like, him holding a line is like me, trying to not eat sweets when there is holiday. Like, I have a sweet tooth. And that guy is like me on holidays. I'm just eating those sweets, those cakes. Yeah. And it's just, he needs to go on a diet, like me. He needs to go on a diet. He needs to chill. So I would probably go with someone else. And I know Kambala is inexperienced, and Martinez is coming back to being fit. If I'm Ten Hag, I'm putting Lisandro in that back line if he's available, even though he hasn't played for the most of the season. But still, if he's available, play him and try to maybe up his match fitness against Brighton in the last 10-15 minutes of the match so he can feel the game a bit. But yeah, I would just stay away from Casemiro, honestly. And yeah, he needs to go on a diet, because he's giving my blood pressure is through the roof whenever I see him play. However, he wasn't the worst defender today for Manchester United, and I wish we discuss Wan-Bissaka, please.
All right, before we get to Wan-Bissaka, what's trending right now? Enough comments about our boy Casemiro. The guy that is referred to as the pudding by Bath Time, which kind of stuck. Agile Beast saying, I'm a little sad that he wasn't willing to accept. I was talking about Varane here. Sorry. Let's get to the Casemiro comments. Okay, here we go. Stephanie Grisset saying, Casemiro made some great recovery headers today.
Yeah.
Madrid selling dodgy motors with high mileage. Like Arthur Daly, isn't it? Agile Beast is saying here, players don't take wage cuts, which is why he's been shown the door. So it's a bit of a mix of Varane and Casemiro. Casemiro was effing awful tonight. Can we just say welcome to Andrew Williams? Nice to see
you. Just burst in the door, shouting that.
That's exactly Andrew. Andrew, we love you, bro. He's saying, was still the worst player on the pitch. Talk about Casemiro. Where's your ratings, Andrew? It wouldn't be the same about your ratings. Come on, bring them up. Chat Sport, how you doing? He's still around. He's saying, you can't have 20 minutes like that against City. Because obviously Barton and Dora said the first 20 minutes were really poor. Yeah, you're right. Let's talk about the FA Cup final. So I don't think Chat Sport would play him in centre back then. Casemiro is a slow rapture.
He's Triceratops. He's a Triceratops, the big one. And I know people are going to say that I am, fat shaming him or whatever. I'm not fat shaming. I just, made the analogy of him, not being able to,
control his appetite on the pitch.
Exactly. But yeah, it's in a bad taste.
What was
I
the
didn't mean it like
dinosaur
that.
you called him?
Oh my god, it's incredible. Triceratops.
Oh,
I don't know how you
okay. Triceratops.
Triceratops. Oh my god, I sound like such a Slav. I will stop it. I need to Newcastle.
The Williams brothers are saying, Andrew Williams, Tyron saying to Andrew Williams, can't wait to see the back of Casemiro. Another sign I really wasn't happy about. Too much mileage, light for Varane. Big G saying here, I'd rather put Ten Hag. I'd rather Ten Hag put an under 23 centre back in than Casemiro. Oh, wow. Simon Warner saying here, great things were promised from Casemiro when he first signed. And to complete that, please, Simon Warner. Sorry, Andrew Williams saying Casemiro is hardly recognisable without Princess Leia being chained to him. Very good, very good. Dora body shaming Casemiro, says Big G. It's just teasing. DK Watson saying Casemiro is really a ball in an old china shop. He lumbers around slowly. He doesn't break the china by running into it, but by sliding slowly into the shelving. Oh my days, this is so funny. Like, you guys are on a roll. Tyron Williams saying here, Casemiro is a nice guy, but Rashford made a mistake and showed him Manchester's West Indian takeaways too much jerk chicken, curry goat oxtail, and fried dumpling. If you don't know, that is it's my typical dish from the Caribbean. Simon Warner saying here, Casemiro does, in capital letters, stay. If he does stay, I just wonder if he can stay uninjured or what his form will be like. It's interesting that Bra Ashley says Montreal Cafe from Reception's Hot Pots have ruined Casemiro, says Big G. So obviously we're running joke here about it eating too much. And Tyron saying that Casemiro can't stay next season. He has to go. Fed up of seeing players being carried. Just leave. Here we go. Have a look. Who's the lowest score there, guys? Anyone shout out? Who's got the lowest score?
Wan-Bissaka.
Two guys we're talking about. All right, we're going to talk about Wan-Bissaka, starting with you, Bath Time. You've obviously got a bone to pick.
Yeah, I don't like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't. I have a massive agenda against him because, the same way I have one against Casemiro for the FA Cup final. The FA Cup final, Casemiro crossed his pivot in the first minute, trying to put a marker down, and it led to us conceding a goal. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't get out fast enough at a corner, but Eriksen did, which I think just shows that he's slow of mind. I think that what?
Slow in the mind. That's not
he is. He's slow. He's slow.
Can
in
we
mind.
Get back to fat shaming, because this is more harsh. Sorry, continue, Bethan.
Yeah, I'm sure Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a nice boy, and to be fair to him, he's never really caused us any problems off the pitch. He's caused himself some, but he's never sort of complained. He's never really hid as well. But it's been very noticeable that he used to be called the best 1v1 defender in the world or something. He hasn't been that this season at all. He doesn't have that ability to shut people down anymore, which I don't know why it is. And one of the things that I did rate about Wan-Bissaka was I thought he was quite good in the build-up under Solskjaer. We used to get out using him quite a lot, and we've seen that there's a lot of players in that team like him and Amrabat who are fairly dodgy on the ball in close quarters, and tonight it really showed. You had him miscontrolling a ball that led to one of the most hilarious transition defendings I've ever seen from Amrabat, who he did everything correct and then just threw himself at Isak, which Amrabat, I'm still not convinced he's a Premier League standard, but I really like him as a player. He does everything right. But also, once again, we conceded a goal that was almost identical to the one we scored at St. James's Park, where I can kind of forgive Casemiro for not being close enough to his man, because he's not a central defender, and he needs to be a yard closer, and so maybe you can forgive that. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, body shape, positioning, all wrong again at the back post, letting his man through. And the other thing I'd like to say about Casemiro is for that goal, once again, it's very similar to the goal we conceded against Arsenal, where Onana boots it instead of like we bought him as a build-up player. He boots it, but on the replay, I noticed again, Casemiro is like having a casserole, like instead of getting out from the back. I don't know what is wrong with him about like just pushing up, because it's a basic of football. So with Wan-Bissaka, I think that it wasn't the worst signing in the world when we got him. He was an ex-winger and we were expecting him to develop. But his on-the-ball stuff has been poor all season. His positioning isn't good enough for a Premier League right-back. And to be perfectly honest, I think that Wan-Bissaka might fall down a league or move to sort of Turkey or somewhere like that. I think his race is run at the top level.
Wowee. Stefan, I mean, come on, man. Save this guy. A Premiership player, formerly on the cusp of being an England right back. Wan-Bissaka, the man. You never beat Wan-Bissaka. Come on, man. Defend the guy.
I don't know, Amanda. Like, I really don't know. I had a commenter likened him to Bambi on ice again tonight, and like, it's hard to not say it. Like, positionally, like I've always thought he's very poor, and I think like you will see it from some commenters, or you might see it like from people on Twitter or whatever, saying, "Oh, Wan-Bissaka could play centre half, or he could play like in the six, just because he can slide tackle." But in all aspects of his defending, he is pretty poor, outside of one or two maybe high level attributes. But his actual positional awareness, he doesn't go with the runners a lot. He loses men at the back post. People can get him up his blind side as well. And that's really like unforgivable. And there was a time that was one of the main ways we were actually conceding goals, because Luke Shaw went through a period of doing the same thing on the left-hand side. And it seemed to be every match, it was just crosses to the back post, would be goals against us. I think that was under all, even when we were playing well. But I don't know about Wan-Bissaka. I just think he's one we could move on. I seen somewhere that we've triggered the 1 year extension in his contract, so he's not going to go for free. But I think that's maybe to sell him, to be honest. I don't know, though. I'm not too sure what Premier League clubs you would even look at who would be interested in his technical ceiling, like, because it's just not good enough. Like, I get what bath time means when he says you might have a player whose race is run at the top end, but
yeah,
you are looking very low down the league in terms of teams who would want a fullback with that little amount of technical quality. Like, but I don't know. He was signed with a lot of promise. He was signed for quite a lot of money, and it looked for a while that if he could just improve his on-ball work, that there could be a real gem of a player there. But it's just never materialized, and he's just never really improved.
There's enough comments about Wan-Bissaka. Dora, can you just, because I'm backing Wan-Bissaka. Are you with me?
No.
No?
Like, I have, Maguire agenda. I had, the biggest McTominay agenda. I'm a bit, I'm not, hating McTominay that much anymore. I think he proved me wrong a bit this season. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, since that second season when he started, he just didn't progress as a player. And I mean, he's the same player, but not even. I think he just regressed, because he isn't even that good in one-on-ones. I think Simon said that he will probably go to Palace and Villa. I mean, Mitchell is miles better than him in Palace, and what's his face? The guy Matty Cash is also better than him. So I agree with Bedtime. I think this is, he's just not built for this league anymore, and I think he will probably go somewhere abroad. Shame, because I felt at the beginning when we signed him that there is a player there, but since that first season he's been, getting worse and worse. So sorry, Amondi, I need to leave you on that one. You're all alone.
Well, let's see what the comments say about Wan-Bissaka. And guys, you have been really sort of piling them in. Andrew Williams saying, I like Wan-Bissaka, but he's been awful last 3 months. Chat Sports saying Wan-Bissaka will leave this summer. Big G saying, can we call him Jar Jar Binks? Adds some more comedy value. So we've got Casemiro being chained with Princess Leia being Jabba the Hutt. Well, not Jabba, sorry. That's Jabba, not Jabba. And Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. Star Wars theme, guys. If you want to make some jokes, stupid jokes, let's do some Star Wars themes about whatever's being said. Simon saying, if Wan-Bissaka goes, my hunch is that he will sign for Palace, as you just said, Dora. Andrew Williams saying here, I think Wan-Bissaka was very decent at the start of the season, but went off a cliff. That's from Andrew. Wan-Bissaka has to leave, says Tyrone. He's got credit early on for his last-minute slide tackles, but good defenders stay on their feet. Bit dopey, and he can't cross, which is criminal. Agile Beast is saying here, Wan-Bissaka's touch is anything but silky. Agreed. Wan-Bissaka is awful, says Tyrone Williams, and I never understand why he was used at left back. Simon Warner with casseroles, they just simmer for hours, just like our players. Very good, very good. Tyrone Williams saying here, there's never any reaction when Wan-Bissaka makes the same vagrant expression. He doesn't care. Think about Martial. Bissaka will go back to Palace or Villa, says Simon Warner. We've got Ganacho Stan. How you doing, man? He says Wan-Bissaka plays football like he's lagging.
Yeah, he's on 170 ping every single game. 170 ping every single game.
You know, if you want to make an impact, you come with a big comment like that. I met you before, Ganacho Stan, but you just made an impact on the show. Very good comment. I like that. Welcome, by the way. Montreal saying here, what coaches and people need to understand is that McTominay is the kind of player who can strive either up front or at the back, playing midfield ain't for everybody. 21 likes, says Stephanie Mills, as you know. Jar Jar Binks was irritating. So is Wan-Bissaka, says Simon Williams. And here we go. This one, Rasmus Ben Kenobi. They're piling in. They're piling in with the Star Wars.
What was the planet that got blown up in
Death
Star
Star.
Wars? No, that's the Death Star. What was the name of the planet? The Death Star blew it up.
Alderaan.
I wanted to do
Alderaan. I know.
I wanted to do an Amrabat link with Alderaan, but I thought it was called something different.
What about the Newcastle player? There's a guy called left-footed guy, Amaron. Is it Amaron?
Almiron.
Yeah.
Alderaan. You're a big Star Trek fan, Stefan. You got that one quick.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not massive
Star
Trek
Wars.
fan. Yeah, I've watched a little bit.
Are we allowed to talk about Amrabat on Monday, or do you want to quiz people on Star Trek?
No, I don't want to quiz anyone on Star Trek. I want to hear about Amrabat because obviously retribution time, isn't it? Bath time. You called him Michelle and Pony. We had a good old belly laugh about that. But what are you saying now?
I'm still saying I don't think he's good enough. There were a couple of moments tonight where his touch was just unbelievably shit for a Premier League player. Like unbelievable. What I think Amrabat shows is that I really like him. I like his positioning. I like his work rate. I like the fact he never fights. He's like a little pit bull running around there. And I think it shows that we have to move away from Casemiro's and Eriksen's, like sort of deep-lying playmaker style ones, and go for someone like Amrabat that can sort of hold the fort and look after Kobe Mainu a little bit, but just relieve a bit of that defensive pressure from him. I think he played well tonight, Amrabat, but he lacks in too many areas for him to be a player that I think can even be a squad player, because it's that one-footedness, Amonde. It's something that I look at him and I've only ever thought this about Donny, is that if I had to go up against a Premiership player, like Amrabat's probably the person that I would pick to go up against, because he cuts so much of the pitch off with his heavy right-footedness, and the way he runs with the ball, it's too close to his body, so he can't turn his hips to angle passes out wide. You're always going to be able to close play around him. And despite the fact that I'd be close to giving him man of the match tonight, because I felt that he has all the stuff I like: work rate, commitment, reading a situation. His technical skills are shocking for like a Premier League player. And but I think he shows that we've got to be looking at someone like him who can actually pass a football and manipulate it and control a football going forward, because he allows other players to get on and do what they need to do. And he defended that transition like an Avenger at the end, Captain Amrabat.
Oh, wow. So it's a bit of a damning opinion from Bath time. Stefan, I'm going to come to you on Amrabat because a few comments coming through. You can see we're getting a bit of balance here. People like his performance. He's on loan. I'm not going to ask a question. I know what's going to answer to be about keeping him. It's a no from you. But do you think it's a bit of retribution for him? And could he play in the cup final as well?
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit of retribution. I think he had a pretty good match in a lot of ways, and some of his defensive actions were very good. His positioning is very good. And I've been saying for quite a while that I think he's the right profile of player, but maybe just not the right player to be that guy. Like if we went out and got somebody who can play in similar positions, hold down areas and let the other midfielders go on and do their bits further up the pitch, but just have a better technical level than Amrabat, be more two-footed and be able to receive the ball better, have a better touch. I think you'd have a very, very good contender. That could be the type of player I would really want to see us bring in the summer. I think in the last two matches, we've looked a little more secure with him in that number 6 spot, as compared to what we had been, even at Crystal Palace. I think against Arsenal and then again tonight, I think he brought a little bit of security. Obviously, some spectacular tackles and interventions, but I think just purely if you're talking as a kind of player, as a type of player, and as a mold, I think we need someone in that kind of mold to come into the team, but I just don't think Amrabat's the guy to do it.
So Torres would be given a fair shake because considering he's played at left back and positions that he's not very comfortable with. The question here from Simon Warren is also, would you play him in the cup final? Just give a little analysis about our boy.
Yeah, because I think Kobe is, thriving next to him. Casemiro next to Kobe is not that. I just wish that, as you guys were describing Amrabat, I just think that, and I know I'm a homer a bit, but and biased, but like if we had Marcelo Brozovic 2 seasons ago, and I would just kill for that kind of guy. And I think that, Amrabat is a much worse version of, Marcelo Brozovic. He could, break the lines, do the dirty work, run for days, even though he's smoking cigarettes and probably drinking and eating frozen pizza, between the games. But, and he, as Betam likes to say, he was always good at manipulating the ball. And, I always liked him as a player, and I would love him in this United team. I would actually consider to play him because I think some of these players that have been on the bench throughout the whole season, we kind of, the manager, didn't pick them, and I think they kind of came into the form in the best moment, like Amad Diallo, like Amrabat. Bruno is started playing a much better football. McTominay is back; he's doing his thing. We are kind of getting our centre backs back, and I think this is the opportunity where I don't think Ten Hag should tinker that much. I think he should stay with this kind of midfield because throughout the whole season, throughout the 30 games, we saw that Eriksen and Casemiro and all those guys just don't work in this system.
Okay, lots of comments coming in about our boy Amrabat, and he has been a bit of a joke on his channel thanks to Bath Time, but he's getting some credibility now, it seems. Chat Sports saying he's not played that much, a bit of justification. Would you have played him instead of Eriksen on the pitch? That's the question for Simon, just in from the pub. Double A saying here, last couple of games being quite useful. I don't think we should keep him. If that was the question. Sorry, go ahead, Dora.
No, I just wanted to say that I agree with Double A.
Okay, yeah, I do too. Andrew Williams saying that, yeah, Mainu plays well alongside Amrabat. That was put up there earlier. Amrabat's mind is way DK Wilson. Wow. Simon's saying here, I think Amrabat is a much better player than Mount. But that's just only his opinion, and that's what we're here for. So Stephanie Griffiths saying Amrabat made more tackles tonight than McTominay in his whole United career. Agile Beast saying I'm big on Betis player Johnny Cardoso. Good all-round number 6. And we've got Andrew Williams. This is going to be really funny, guys. Brace yourselves. I agreed. He makes gaping holes smaller. That's from Andrew Williams. Talk about Amrabat. He's a bit like, you can see what it says there about something, modification of surgery. He makes us tighter. That's his analogy there. Well done, Andrew. After tonight's result, would you keep the same lineup for the Brighton game or jiggle it a bit? Jiggle it. Jiggle it. You can tell he's coming from the pub. Simon's on form tonight. Big G's coming saying here, a number 6 for me is the conductor of the orchestra. Amrabat is definitely not that dumb player through. I agree. That's a good one. DK wants to say athletes like Amrabat often end up being really good managers. If he chooses that route, I think he'd be good. He sees the game well, but he can't always do what he sees. Montreal MBFC says if Amrabat has an advantage over most players, it would be that he's fresh and him and Mainu has good chemistry. And then we've got finally here Simon again saying, I wouldn't have played McTominay. I would have chosen Haaland to start and keep McTominay on the bench for the second half. So there you go. All right, guys, we've got 1 minute, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Next game is Brighton coming up. I'm quite pleased with the result. Just going to the goals that we conceded. Any issues there? Any sort of glaring weaknesses that we need to sort of shore up before the next 2 games? Anyone? Free for all.
Yeah, I mean, look, we conceded from a corner and we weren't quick enough to get out at the corner. But if you bring Rasmus, Eriksson and Martinez on, you're going to be at a real disadvantage defending set pieces. Certainly with Eriksson and Højlund. We've seen over the course of the season that those two are big bollocks when defending. I can maybe let them off a little bit because it's the 90th minute at the end of the season and they are tired. But these are the margins that sort of win you games. They've got to get out quicker. Even Casemiro's dead on his feet for that. Rasmus, Rashford, the rest of them, they don't get out quick enough. And when we're going to play against City, we didn't get out quick enough in the cup final for the second goal, like Wan-Bissaka in particular. These are the things that we need to improve in order to basically get sort of Champions League football. We've got to be better at that. We've got to be better also at defending our own corners, like when Aaron Wan-Bissaka did a Jadon Sancho when they went through. But for me, the 2 goals that they scored, shout out to that Newcastle player with that strike, Hall or whatever. Yeah. Lovely strike. But the thing is it's like individual errors are creeping in the team too much. We're all probably going to put forward Delot as player of the season, but Delot's had shockers all season in Champions League and so on and things. The team needs to really work on the fundamentals of defending and closing down and denying space when we need to do it. And it's a really disappointing goal to concede because it's about a lack of effort.
Okay, fair enough. Anana made a couple of good saves, don't you think, Dora, today? Point blank
I mean, besides those two saves and, some decent, he caught a ball, in that, 5 meter where which he should do more, but, he did it. But I felt like that his distribution was poor and I absolutely hate the way he kicks the ball, to no one. I hope that we will probably see him next season as well. I mean, we just signed him and I hope that it gets better. In that segment of his game. But overall, I mean, I felt that he wasn't that good tonight, but it is what it is. I think he saved those 2, dangerous chances and cool.
Okay, do you want to say hi to Teddy in the chat? How you doing, Teddy? Long time no see. Good to see you on board. And also to Katie, who also done the quiz for us. She's a Blackburn Rovers fan, and I've been pushing her to make a Blackburn Rovers agenda because there's not many out there. And I think you do really well. She's got great football knowledge as well, by the way. Big up to you, Katie. Just a couple of comments here before we come to Stefan. Montreal MSC said, I also noticed that we didn't spread out quickly enough after the corner against Arsenal. It was the same with the Hall goal today. Yeah. Talking about that goal, Stefan, I mean, I felt Hall had time he didn't hit it first time, which he could have, because no one came out to go and confront him.
Yeah, I think that's a disappointing thing, is that's more of a question of effort than actual tactics or spacing, or, if there was a direct cross into the box and someone got a flick on it to the front post or back post or whatever. It's just when the ball drops, you don't want to let the man have a touch and to set it out. If he's going to take it on, make sure he has to take it first time. And then if he scores, then it's a hell of a finish. And it was a really good hit, really good connection by Hall. But if we just got out to him, we probably just deal with it. We probably get the block in and yeah, anything could happen to him, but at least, we put ourselves in that position. I think watching it, we had Evans, we had, I think, Ericsson, I think Hoyland, all trying to block the ball from a standing position, but someone's got to get out to him. And that was just disappointing. Can't afford to do that against City because they got players all over the pitch who can hit that.
Yeah. Certainly, that's a massive game now. It means everything. Once again, I just want to repeat, guys, the manager did grab the microphone at the end of the game and gave a rousing speech trying to build up for the cup final and saying, we're going to go for it. We're going to bring it home.
It's like 8 Mile, wasn't it, on Monday? Just started rapping. Went in on Drake. BBL Drizzy.
We love it. We like to see that kind of thing. I want to go and watch that now and get hyped up and maybe put like a backing track on the back of it and post it tomorrow. Big up to Teddy. She's saying BT Da Vinci as a private joke, maybe inside joke. I don't get it, but maybe you do bath time.
He's comparing me to Da Vinci because of my outstanding work with thumbnails.
Right, of course. And guys, what do you think of the thumbnail tonight with Casemiro on the beach? Getting a tan in the wind. I don't know. I'm going to leave that one alone. It looks like I've lost. It's 2-0 this week to you, Bath Time. You've got me both times.
Most dangerous scoreline.
Yes. And hopefully we'll be 2-0 on the weekend as well. It's the last game of the season on a Sunday. No doubt about it. It's been a great season. Overall, just quickly.
Sorry, what did you just say? It's been a great season.
Not for us, I'm talking. Let me been a great season overall for the Premier League. As I was saying, it's been a great season overall for the Premier League. We've had a 3-horse race up until a few weeks ago, which is unusual, I believe. I can't remember the last time we've had 3 teams in contention going into sort of April and May. What's the standard like at the moment with the Premier League? Is there a big division between the top 2-3 clubs compared to the rest, and the teams that seem to be getting relegated? Are they that poor? Because Sheffield United have been rubbish this season. It's a Premier League.
We need content for tomorrow, right?
Okay, I'll say that one.
Because it's a really good one. If Dora and Stefan want to reply to that, 9 p.m. tomorrow night.
Okay, and let me just say this, Stefan, I'm going to plug you because you do it so modestly. You do it so modestly. Guys, go and subscribe to the United Philosophy. It's Stefan, the main man, who comes to the agenda. We're like brothers in arms. He's all the way from Northern Ireland, delivering great Man United content. Make sure you subscribe to United Philosophy. Our boy Stefan there. Is that the enthusiasm you want, Stefan?
Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. Couldn't have done any better.
Yeah. I can get the mic and be do a 10 hag for you as well. There you go. All right. Big up. Great thumbnail. Get some as well. Any last words before I sign out? Big up Montreal. Any last words?
I think we'd like to thank Dora as well.
Dora's a regular. She's part of the furniture now, aren't you, Dora?
Of course. If you say it like that, of course I am.
Yes,
I am. Thank you for having me once more. I had a rough week. I mean, this whole year has been, but every time I come on here, it's always a great time, and you always, pick up my spirit. So thank you for that. And it helps that we won.
If we had a big table, Dora would be sitting at the head of the table.
Stop it.
Saying grace at the start of the show.
Thank you.
Guys.
Dora would be running around chasing chickens and throwing knives about and things.
True.
Oh dear. Bath time, big up. And once again, we're not going to leave the show without saying,
yes.
Mr. B, we see you soon. Get well soon, my brother. We love you. And no doubt you'll be back with us in no time at all. All right, we're signing out. Thanks everyone in the comments. We've won 3-2 tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock, for another edition of the Man United Agenda. Good night.